Some of you know that I'm traveling to Vilcabamba, Ecuador for the winter, and this video is to just kind of share a little bit about the logistics of getting here, staying here, and about the city and the village town itself. So, you fly into Loja Airport, ideally, and then you take but the airport is 30 minutes from the actual city, so you taxi there and then you can either bus or taxi another 30 minutes to Vilcabamba. So I stayed my first about 8 or 9 days. I stayed at 8 days. I stayed at a hostel called Hostel which is a German hostel. It's about 2 kilometers, so about a mile up the road, 1.2 miles up the road, up the highway, and it's a beautiful hostel. I'd recommend it. It's only 12 bucks a night for a dorm bed. So nice. Lovely people. The food is amazing. Like a free brunch every day is included. So that's great. But that is about a mile walk downhill, and then if you want to get back, it's a mile up. And so if you don't want to do the walk, you just stay at one of the hostels in town while you kind of get your bearings, maybe rent an apartment like I'm doing now. So yeah, so I'll talk about the town. So the town itself it's quite small. You could probably walk the entire town in about 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes. So it's quite small. There's one main town square. So at this town square, first of all, in Vilcabamba there's a ton of gringos. 1 in 5, I would say about 1 in 5 people are gringos. It's a little bit even bizarre how many travelers come through here. I mean, it's not bizarre because it's quite beautiful. I understand it. But what's interesting is that the surrounding towns, in Malacata, you know, the ones that are only 10 minutes away, have very little, if no, gringos. And I think that part of the reason is because there was a few health gurus that really promoted this area. Mike Adams of Natural News and Matt Monarch of the Raw Food World. They've been promoting it. So a lot of people that come here are very, not all the gringos, but a fair amount of them are very into health. Like very much, like raw food, vegan, vegetarian, this type of thing. There's a place called the Juice Factory in town. It's where a lot of the gringos hang out. They have smoothies, soup, a lot of health products you could buy. It's interesting, yeah, so that's a good spot to go, the Juice Factory. If you travel here, it's interesting that you could probably stay here months and not learn Spanish. Like you could learn just a few words because there's so many gringos. So it takes a really conscious effort to keep learning Spanish. Like, and a good way to do that is Google Translator. That's a good way to get it to the words, English to Spanish, or yeah. So the town itself, they have some markets, and they have a lot of little tiendas, little stores, and the food is cheap, much cheaper than the U.S., but it's not quite as cheap, as inexpensive as I thought it would be. A papaya is still, $1.50 around, $1 to $1.50 for a big papaya, which is reasonable. In the U.S., a big papaya is $5. So, that's still very good. But you hear of these stories, where you can go somewhere and spend 10 cents, get a meal for $1 or $2, like in Thailand you hear that. And just the amount of Westerners, not Westerners, but like gringos that have come in with money, they've inflated the prices of everything. So the land prices have gone up. In Vilcabamba they've like tripled over the past decade. And the food has also gone up. So avocados you can still get for 40, 50 cents. It's a great deal, but it's not like as cheap as Peru or some of the other poor areas of Ecuador. So it's yeah, it's quite nice. It's quite nice town. A lot of the stores have stuff you can use. I was surprised. Like I thought there would be more custom things. A lot of the stores have just like really cheap you know, cheap products for very cheap, you know, inexpensive, but they're really flimsy products, like the pans and stuff, and like just all like the little goods you can buy. But the fruit and the veggies, like, great, they're phenomenal. So it's a good place to, like, if you want to do some healing, you know, do some really, like, just some rest or healing, but not be like isolated, because there's such a community. It's nice. One thing I found a challenge about Vilcabamba is that there's a lot, like in the town especially, there's a lot of taxis. So there's like, and you're right next to them, so there's a lot of those fumes you're getting. And like, I live 25-minute walk uptown, or actually it's 50 minutes up, 25 down in San Jose. I rented an apartment, and you know, when you're walking, the air is fresh, but then a taxi comes by and there's like 10 seconds of like smog. And you know, I'm trying to really heal my lungs at the moment, so you know, that's counterproductive. And in town, I mean, depending where you go, a lot of people smoke cigarettes. So yeah, I had forgot how many people, like Europeans and like, just, it's still like trendy to smoke cigarettes. Like the youth in other countries, it's still very like trendy. So yeah, that's, I guess, one of the downsides. The water is good. If you can't drink it in the city, because it's like, the higher you get up, the higher you live, the more fresh the water. I just drink from the tap. I haven't gotten sick at all. The water's quite fresh. No fluoride, no chlorine. It's just fresh water. What else? What else? Plenty of hikes. That's the best. You know, I wasn't prepared for how much walking I was going to be doing. Even just walking back from the hostel and into town a few times, like, my legs were sore. You know, hiking, you know, you can hike, there are many hikes for hours. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, even some of the hikes. You can ride, what's cool is, yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff. You can, you know, it's a good place, you can learn, I'm going to learn how to ride horses. There's a horse ride to the waterfall. What else? Yeah, there's a lot of things. There's a Vilcabamba Facebook group run by Mofufu. If you're thinking about coming here, join that group and just kind of, yeah, and that's a good way to find an apartment if you're looking for one. There's plenty of billboards. You can find an apartment, and just word of mouth through the other gringos and stuff, you'll find an apartment. I found a beautiful apartment for $300 with a view, with the utilities included. So I'm just really enjoying myself here, trying to just go with the flow, feel into what excites me, just kind of in the synchronicity, you know, I've been experiencing since I got here, synchronicity after synchronicity after synchronicity. You know, just keep following what excites you. So I think that's about it. Feel free to post any questions below. I'll answer them about Vilcabamba, about getting here, about anything really. So, thank you so much. Oh, and they use American dollars, you know. They use those little Sacagawea dollar coins, which is interesting. Yeah, so the currency is exchangeable. The plug outlets, the exact same as in the United States. So it's pretty seamless to get here. Customs was no problem at all. But of course, I think the customs are probably more challenging getting out of the country. 90 days is what the country gives you, a tourist visa. Many of the industrialized countries of the world, or most of the world, gets an implied tourist visa. So you come, you don't even have to apply for it. You just come, and you have 90 days to do whatever you'd like in the country. And if you want to stay longer, you need to apply for an extended visa, which is $230. Or a student visa, or a work visa, or a residency, which is like a permanent thing, indefinite thing. So I'm just using the time to eat healthy, meditate, networking with the community. So thank you for watching the video. My name is Mateo Cielo. Matthew Sky is my Ecuador name, and yeah. Feel free to ask any questions. Thank you, and check out my website, cafeholistic.com, and my book, ebook, leaningintolife.com. It's on spirituality, spiritual practice. It can really transform your life, the book. So thank you for watching. Peace.